Cowboys Nation of YouTubers? Is that VA Dallas Cowboy fan coming back at you after the first preseason game of the year? Woo! It's in the books. Unfortunately, we lost, but we saw some things. So I'm going to go through this and have my good, bad, and the ugly of Cowboys preseason game 1. Let's start with the good. The good was watching our defense hold serve. They managed to keep them out of the end zone until the end of the game. And they caused, I will say, 4.5 turnovers. It would have been 5, but the last one was negated by a penalty on our defense, which led to the eventual game-winning touchdown. Now, I didn't know the whole roster because they went pretty deep. That was, I know Eric Scott, he got a turnover. I think Bell got a turnover as well. And 2 other guys. But they looked pretty good. They were in the right place at the right times. Mozzie looked better than last year. Nealon looked okay. So, it looked better, overshown. Again, Bell and, most of these linebackers and the defensive line tried their best. I know they didn't get home a lot as far as sacks, but there were pressure. There was definitely pressure. These guys got in there. They just didn't get home. That's okay. That's all right. They created pressure. They created turnovers. That's what we like. If you're not getting home, do something. So that was a good. Tyler Guyton, he came out and did his thing. He had to come in and replace Edoga. Apparently he got a injured foot, and he was seen leaving the stadium in a walking boot. So I guess Guyton is next man up. Ooh, sorry. Ooh, stupid. And we'll have to see what the snap count's going to be on him if he's going to be the starter this season, if they're going to keep walking him out there so much. Cooper Beebe, I didn't see anything crazy from him. He had a solid day. He did his snaps. He held serve. He did what he had to do. And if he's not a starter, he's definitely a pliable backup just from this. And he's just going to continue to get better as the preseason and training camp goes on. Let's see. Running backs didn't have much to work on because they really wanted to see what Trey Lance can do in that department. So they sprinkled in some rushing every now and then. Got to see a lot of Davis and see what he could do. We got to see what's his name? They're like down the list. There were a lot of players that I kind of forgot we even had on the roster because they are down the list. But it was a pretty decent day. But it also leads. Brandon Aubrey still that damn dude with that leg. He almost nailed a 65-yarder if he'd have got it little bit to the left. But other than that, he was pretty much perfect on the day. Let's move on to the bad. The bad, injury. Edoga is supposed to be the starter. He's injured, so that kind of steps up Walesko, Bass, Richards, guys like them, and they did not look good. They kind of got bullied around by the Rams defensive line, especially that number 90 Davis. He kind of ran over everybody. Hoffman, no matter who was on the line, they were kind of getting home on pressures. If they weren't sacking Lance, they definitely could clean that up or get better talent or something, because these guys have been on the team for years now and they're not improving at all. So we got to do something about that, clean that up. Receivers, I know they're down the list and this was kind of their time to shine, but they did not show up like they did in practice. But that's kind of a gimme. They're not exactly number ones for a reason. So you got to take the good with the bad with the receiver play. It wasn't all their fault every time on what was going on, but they didn't help themselves with drops and stuff like that. Let's see. Good, bad, and the ugly. Trey Lance. Yeah, there's room for improvement. He's got the arm. He just does not have the accuracy. He's like Ricky Vaughn from Major League, the way he's just kind of scattershot. That's my nickname for him now, because he was kind of all over the field. If he wasn't putting it almost in the dirt, he was throwing it 10 feet over people's heads. He was late for his reads. He just was indecisive a lot of times, held on to the ball too long, but he also had his upsides. When he was hitting, he was hitting. He was also very mobile. So I give that to him. He was like the old Dak as far as mobility. When he saw a chance to run, he could take off and go. He scampered for a first down on like a 3rd and 10. I know he got like 10, 15 yards out of it. So he's got some upside. We're just going to have to see more. Definitely work on his accuracy, because the game wouldn't have been close. He missed like 3 touchdowns with 2 overthrows and a read that he threw too late when a guy was wide open for like 5 seconds and just waiting for the ball. And by the time he threw the ball to the receiver, he was already pretty much out of bounds. But other than that, Trey's not the worst thing on the field. He's not the best thing on the field. He did what he had to do, and there's room for improvement. So all in all, it was a pretty decent game. I liked what I saw. There's some offensive and defensive linemen that just aren't going to make the team. I'm sorry. That's just not going to happen. I don't even think they're going to make backups, or they shouldn't make backup. Trey Lance may have to go all the way through the preseason just to really get acclimated and get that feel for being a backup or a starter if he had to be, and work on his accuracy. He should be a lot better once he nails those things, because if he can get his touchdown, he'll be good. Let's see. And yeah, I mean, the coach, McCarthy, he put him out there. He left him out there. There were 4th down situations that they wanted to run because they can't replicate that in camp, going against themselves. This was the kind of stuff that they wanted. They needed to see what kind of team they had out there in case they ever have to go out here and play for real. So we'll see what happens the rest of this training camp and the rest of the preseason. As far as improvements, if the Cowboys do decide to make any kind of moves, or try to improve themselves or not, you never know. And last thing, Jerry Jones, you're an idiot. Don't go running your mouth if you can't back it up, because now you're backtracking all over CD. You're just moonwalking that ass like Philly 500 says, back to Dallas, and like, oh, I shouldn't have said what I said. But it's too late. It's out there. It is what it's going to be. You and Steven have a penchant for putting your foot in your mouth. But anyway, that's all I really wanted to get out from preseason game 1. We look good. We look bad. We look ugly. But there's room for improvement. That's always a good sign. But anyway, I hope you have a good Monday morning. Take care for the rest of your day. And until next time, this is VA Dallas Cowboy fan. Out.